start this recording in 3, 2, 1. Hello everyone. Welcome back to another Commander review. We are done with the Legend set, and we are beginning our new set and also our very short set of Ice Age. There are only 4 cards, legendary cards, commanders to talk about in this set. So we're going to get through this set very quickly and then right on into the tier list video. So today we are talking about our first commander in Ice Age, which is General Jarkeld, who is a legendary human soldier. It is a 1/2, and it costs 3 generic and 1 white mana, and it has this big block of text. I am going to read the Oracle current up-to-date text. That is the old text of the card. Alright. Tap General Jarkeld. Choose 2 target blocking. Choose 2 target blocked attacking creatures. If each of those creatures could be blocked by all creatures that the other is blocked by, each creature that's blocking exactly one of those attacking creatures stops blocking it and is blocking the other attacking creature. Activate only during the declare blockers step. So in its simplest form, what this is saying is if anyone attacks with 2 creatures, creature A and creature B, and they are blocked by creatures 1 and 2, then what happens is when you activate this ability, if one is going to A, if one is blocking A and 2 is blocking B, Jarkeld will switch the numerical blockers, what they're blocking. So 1 was blocking A, 2 was blocking B. Using Jarkeld's ability, it will swap that. So 1 will now block B, and 2 will now block A. If that makes any sense. That is its simplest form. And you obviously have to bear in mind blocking rules, combat rules, things like menace or skulks, things like that. So you have to be obeying of the rules. If that creature could block a different creature of the targets you're swapping, you got to bear that in mind. So it's in its simplest form, vanilla creatures. You're just swapping 2 blockers and what they're blocking. And we're going to do some fun shenanigans with that. I will quickly read in detail what I just explained, because there are rulings on this card. So the first one does not undo any abilities which triggered due to the declaration of blockers. A creature which is switched away still has any triggered abilities resolve on it. So now, if we're talking about, I've done a bunch of those Bant decks where you want to get blocked by someone. And a lot of those creatures say, when this creature becomes blocked, do this. If there's ever one that's like, creature A says whenever it gets blocked, it deals 1 damage to creature 1, because 1 is the original blocker, then even if you swapped the blockers, the creature A ability is still going to ping the creature 1, because that was the original blocker. The new blocker does not trigger any abilities which trigger on creatures becoming blockers. Because the creatures were already blockers, and the simple change of who is blocking does not trigger such abilities. And all that is to say is it's a complicated version of saying once those blocked or being blocked triggers go on the stack, they cannot re-trigger again, because those creatures have already been declared as blockers. You cannot double trigger those blocking effects. That would just kind of break the game and make it really gummy and like very confusing. So once a block trigger or a being blocked trigger is put on the stack, it has been put on the stack. It's not going to happen again, even if you switch blockers, because blockers have already been assigned. So just to keep it simple, once any of those blocking triggers are on the stack, they won't go up again. Plain and simple. However, I chose to put Phyrexian Vindicator up, because Phyrexian Vindicator does not care who it blocks or who it is being blocked by, so long as it is dealt damage. Whenever it is dealt damage, you prevent it, and then when damage is prevented this way, Phyrexian Vindicator deals that much damage to any other target. So this would be a great group slug commander, because you could always be blocking, or you could always have your opponent's creatures blocking flip-flop however you need. Great combat control effect. And with Phyrexian Vindicator, of course, you can just swap blockers, destroy the creature that you wanted to take care of with the 5/5 that is Phyrexian Vindicator, and then throw that whatever damage to another creature and destroy it anyway. Or throw it right back at your opponent. So Phyrexian Vindicator is fabulous card in this deck. The deck that I'm going to be putting General Jarkeld in is a mono-white soldier deck, and it is all about getting a large board of soldier tokens into play, giving them a lot of keyword abilities, and then beefing up your non-token soldiers. And the point of this is, when I go attacking with my giant board of creatures, and someone wants to block my non-tokens with a deadly threat, and then blocks my tokens with some menial tokens, I can swap blockers around, so then that way my non-token, my important lord creatures are safe, and my tokens become the fodder to the blockers or the attackers, depending on who's blocking. So just a great way to defend your board and control exactly how combat is going to end up. Now, General Jarkeld, when I looked this up on EDH Rec, there wasn't really a lot of deck lists on this, but banding was like the one thing that popped up predominantly for General Jarkeld. So if you wanted to do mono-white banding, this would be the commander to do it. Now, as I've said multiple times, I personally love the banding mechanic. In summary, it allows you to redistribute damage rather than the opponent choosing how to distribute damage. Is the shorthand of it. There's a much more detailed explanation on my Ayesha Tanaka video, or Tanaki video, and any other decks that I talk about the banding. But banding is pretty cool because it lets you distribute damage, is the shorthand. But it is not that strong of an effect. It is not, because you have to like form a single unit with your cards. It's very ineffective in combat as far as attacking. And finally, this would be a fun, like, almost like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, there's the Stop Hitting Yourself deck, which is full of cards like Stuffy Doll or the Phyrexian Vindicator, where you want your creatures to get dealt damage. But then there's another version of this, or maybe it's like a meld of the two, I'm not sure, where the other half of this deck is you want to either force your opponents to block your creatures, or you want to have the ability to block multiple creatures. And the reason why you want to do this with things like Provoke, which force blockers, and Brave the Sands that give additional blocks, is there are cards like Abu Jafar that when it becomes, let's see, if is put into the grave from play during combat, destroy all creatures blocking or blocked by Abu Jafar. And so the nice thing about that is you can swap around creatures either on your defensive side or on someone else's defensive side. So that way when Abu Jafar goes to the graveyard, it can remove any other unnecessary threats on the board. And being able to do that via combat control is really cool, very sneaky. Obviously your commander will be on board, so they will be aware that you can do that. But having those fun combat tricks will make the game interesting. It's going to make your opponent second guess their decisions and really have to think through what they're going to do. And it means you have more time to like focus on building up your board state and getting ahead of the curve without needing to worry about those small menial details. And that's going to do it for General Jarkeld. There's some fun combat tricks, and I love that. That's something that you don't get to see a whole lot in combat, are those interesting, fun interactions. And I think General Jarkeld will make your game nights very interesting if you play with it correctly and you have those fun interactions. However, it is extremely weak by itself. If you don't have a board state to do these fun tricks with, you're not going to be doing anything with it. The only upside to that is you can do it with any blocking creatures. So you could maybe use General Jarkeld as like this political tool piece and have like a political deck or maybe a pillow fort deck where you are, or even a goading deck in mono white, which would be very weird. But you could have General Jarkeld moving around the board state and trying to control the board, and having your opponents fight each other. So lots of options there. Have fun with General Jarkeld. I can't wait to play with it. I think in my soldier deck it's going to be the most bland use of this card, mostly because I'm just using it to protect my board during combat scenarios. So my use of him will not be as fun or interesting as some of these other ideas. But if you or someone you know plays with these, let me know in the comments below what you think, because I think that these ideas are pretty fun. I particularly like this stop hitting yourself strategy, where it doesn't really matter how it happens. You just want to swap things around so you can get the most efficient damage possible. Or do something where you are forcing creatures to get destroyed because of your combat tricks, which I think is really fun. So if that is where I'm going to end it, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this and you want to see more, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell to get notified when more videos come out. Again, as I said, this set is going to be very short, so we'll get through this really quickly, and then we'll get on to Homeland. So thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!